Well, hello. I'm I'm stoned and I'm tired, so I don't know if this is really a good idea, but I have a kind of a simple story to tell, so maybe I can keep it together. Um, I grew up in the South and in a tiny little town and very conservative Baptist. Anyway, so in in the where I grew up, what I learned was that sex is nasty, dicks are nasty, and pussies are nasty. All that stuff is nasty. I got a spanking, a paddling with the back of a hairbrush when I was 3 years old because I got caught playing doctor with the neighbor girl who was like a couple years older, so older and wiser, right? So I mean, 3 years old, I knew this was big stuff. I didn't know why it was such big stuff, but it seemed to be something that people cared about a lot. So, first point, everything's nasty. Sex, dicks, pussies, all nasty. Okay, fast forward to my early 30s, and I'd been getting high for a few years. Not that long, 3 or 4, 5 maybe. Um, so somehow I came to realize at that point, water. Hopefully, I can talk. um, yeah, so I came. I became sort of aware of that teaching that I had when I was a kid. When I realized that I had an aversion to male sexual apparatus, and my own were acceptable, to a certain point, but ejaculate was nasty. I mean, oh yeah, it's nasty shit. You don't want to get it on you. So, um, so in my early 30s, I came to the realization, or at least it seemed to me that this was not a healthy attitude. To have this kind of negative attitude toward something that I had been enjoying for a while now. For several reasons, actually. For one thing, it creates a sort of internal tension if the neighbors, just a second. Well, it wasn't the neighbors, it was my grocery delivery, which I had totally forgot about. I can't imagine how that would happen. But all is well. All the frozen stuff is in the refrigerator. So the the first part of this realization was that it was unhealthy to have this attitude, this aversion toward myself, this part of myself, this nasty part. So the other part of it was that it means that as long as I have that kind of aversion, it puts a separation between me and the women I have sex with, because that means they're nasty. if they're playing with this nasty thing, it means these women are nasty. So and they like nasty things. Oh, it's terrible. And that's not That's not good. If somehow I got this idea of egalitarian relationships, anyway, it's not good for egalitarian relationships to for one person to have a view of another person that is negative. It's and it's not just me. I mean, when I grow up, I remember hearing guys talk about, oh God, she give you a blowjob and then she wanted you to kiss her. Oh fuck. And it was like, obviously, to me, it's not healthy. So anyway, so there I am, and I'm thinking I have this aversion, and I had at the time a gay friend that I used to hang out with and get high with, and so I said to him, hey, I want to check out this gay sex thing. And he's like, okay. So we did. And I got fucked in the ass for the first time in my life. And I found out something that didn't really turn me on. Now it could be first time's not the best, right? You should keep trying. But it was like, the first time I had sex with a woman, just the idea of it was like totally mind-blowing, exciting. But I did not feel that way about getting fucked in the ass. It was not something. Anyway, but now, I knew what it felt like, at least what it felt like for the first time. So we hung out together for a while. And every now and then, we'd be out somewhere, and he'd give me a blowjob, the hot springs or something. We'd go up the woods. He gave me a hot blowjob, a hot blowjob. And another time we were at the beach, just smoking dope, hanging out, looking at the surf, and I gave him a blowjob. We went up in the bushes, and I gave him a blowjob. So I found out that this aversion I had for like 30 years of my life or so was a learned thing, and it could be unlearned. And just having that experience, it lowered that barrier between me and women. It was not something nasty that they did. It was something fun that we all did. It was like, it was okay. There's nothing nasty about it. So there's nothing nasty about them. So, that was a fairly major transformation in my sex life. There's another connection in there I'd like to bring in, and that is dealing with jealousy. For starters, when I was in 7th grade, I had a crush on this girl, and one day I was walking down the sidewalk, and I saw her riding in the car with an older guy, and I was like heartbroken. It felt terrible. It didn't feel good at all. So I don't know how, why. Maybe because I think sometimes I read the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin at a young age. And I think it really affected my thinking. But, so anyway, I had this feeling, and I thought to myself, what the fuck is going on here? Why should I have this feeling when I see this woman in a car with an older guy? Well, I've got a crush on her, right? But that means if I think she's great, I like her, I, think she's wonderful, I should want her to be happy, right? I mean, doesn't that follow? I should want her to be happy. And if riding around the car with another guy, older guy, oh fuck, older, if that made her happy, then why should I begrudge that to her? I mean, why? She should stay with me and be unhappy, walk down the sidewalk, blow her chance to ride around in the car with an older guy. So I what? That's to me that's just sort of fairness in a way. They've done studies with dogs and monkeys and shit. And it's funny to think, these monkeys, they're side by side, right? They give one cucumbers and the other one grapes. And the one that gets the cucumber says, "What the fuck?" How come the other guy gets the grapes and I get the fucking cucumber? Well, they don't exactly say that, but their reaction is kind of along that line anyway. So, how the fuck does that really? Oh, fairness, right. So I think it's this sense of fairness, of who's getting a better deal in any situation, is something that's built into the organism, by evolution a long time ago. And so, fucking alarm went off. Totally blew me away. I was going so good too. So yeah, the differences in attitude toward men and women. So I think it's good. I think all guys should have a healthy attitude toward their body. So how do you do that? You go up to your buddy and say, "Hey, I'm going for my blowjob badge." And I wonder if you could let me give you one so I can get my badge, right? You don't have to do that. But, get a little more intimate with yourself. Now see, this sounds gross to a lot of people. I'm going to lose a lot of people. But guys, sometimes when you masturbate into the palm of your hand, right? You can manage that. It's not that hard. And then lick it off. Oh man, did that turn stomachs or what? But, I've done that too, just for, what's it like? I mean, women, some of them like to have you come in their mouth. They love it. I mean, it's I don't know. I think maybe it's a power trip or something. I don't know, but they like it. And so this body fluid is going in someone's mouth and they like it. So why should I like it? What's wrong with it? Is there anything wrong with it that I can't do it? Well, if you allow yourself to think that way, about why is it? Why should I have this aversion to myself? why should I? Where did that come from? It came from the culture I grew up in. But there's a cost involved. You know, that division between the good boy and the bad boy, right? The one who has the genitals, he's the bad boy. And the good boy who's the one who never thinks about sex. You know, there's sort of this built-in polarization or something that, in Lisa Feldman Barrett's terms, would mean that you would have to expend energy to deal with this fact that part of you is pulling one way and part of you is pulling another way. You know, you've got this conflict going on. You know, what do they call it? Cognitive dissonance, of course. Cognitive dissonance, right? That's the social psychologist term. So that's involved, and that is costly in terms of body budget. You know, anytime your body is involved in some sort of conflict, whether it's internal, external, or what, it takes energy to deal with it, right? And so the fewer conflicts you have, the lower your energy costs, right? And so when you start down that road with this little sexual thing, there's no telling where it will lead. You'll start looking at all your behavior and saying, why the fuck should I do that? All right. So, go out and rebel, right? Be good little boys and girls, right? And do what mommy says. And I'll talk to you another time. All right. Bye.